All my life, I thought I had to be more charismatic, make more money, lose more fat. It's so easy to get stuck in an endless cycle of self-improvement and still feel like I'm not getting anywhere. But what if the problem isn't that you're not doing enough? What if the problem is that you're making your life more complicated than it needs to be? Several years ago, I spoke with a life coach who helped me figure out why I was feeling so dissatisfied with my own life. And he introduced me to the concept of a simple life. Today, I want to share with you everything that I've learned and how it has helped me rebuild a life on my own terms. And hopefully this is something that can help you with your life too. The first thing that I learned is that simple doesn't mean settling for less. What feels simple to you might look radical to someone else. For example, I find managing money to be simple. Writing code is simple. Making videos, less simple, but still simple. But making small talk with strangers at parties, very, very hard. I was told that making small talk is one of the most important skills you can learn in life, for both career and romance. So I spent at least half a decade unhealthily obsessing over it. I went to meetup events every week back when I lived in San Francisco just to practice socializing with strangers. I was so convinced that if I just get better at this one thing, then I will be enough. I will be respected. I will be loved. And I was wrong. I finally feel enough now, but it has nothing to do with my small talk skills, which I would still rate at a solid 5 out of 10. There are always more than one way to get to where you want to be in life. But it's just so easy to ignore the simple paths and instead choose to bang your head against the wall over and over again. The one thing that has really helped me find simplicity is by intentionally focusing my energy on what makes me feel strong instead of what makes me feel weak. You can start by journaling. Whenever you do an activity, write down how you feel afterwards. For example, if you went to a party after work and you feel shitty afterwards, write it down. Don't lie to yourself and say, oh, that was kind of fun and I would enjoy a bit more if I just wasn't so tired. Document your feelings as you feel them. And look back on this journal log after a week, and for the next week, see if you can replace all the activities that made you feel weak. No pun intended. Of course, this might not be possible for things like going to work or taking care of your baby, but you get the point. Where possible, replace all the activities that make you feel bad with activities that you either feel neutral about or with activities that make you feel good. The point isn't to avoid real life. It's about temporarily embracing and experiencing this multiverse version of your life where you are enough. In my parallel life, I wake up in the morning and I go for a walk with my dog. And then I would stop by the local cafe to buy a cup of iced tea or iced coffee. And then we would come back home and I would water my plants and have my dog play fetch in the yard. And then I would sit down under the shade to read a book, or write some code, or plan out my next video. Everything in this parallel life feels so simple to me. So simple that I can't possibly fail. You need to find your version of the simple life. And know that this simple life full of confidence and happiness will always be there for you to fall back to when you need it. Real life will always be a little harder than the simple life. But there is still a huge difference between a simple life with a few challenges and a life that feels like non-stop struggle. Around this time of last year, I was trying to be a travel vlogger, a competitive dancer, a staff software engineer, and a dog trainer. I was trying to do it all, but what I was really doing was following 4 different North Stars that went in different directions. I became very demotivated after a while because it felt like I was walking in circles and not making any progress. Since then, I've dialed my life back to just being a software engineer who makes home videos on the side, and I am so much happier. Simplifying your life doesn't mean fully eliminating all the things that you used to enjoy. I still dance, I still travel, I still train my dog, but I'm taking it all a lot less seriously and doing everything a lot less frequently. A simple life isn't just about what you do, it's also about how you feel. If you're going through an emotional crisis, you could be doing absolutely nothing, just crying in bed, but your life wouldn't be simple and you wouldn't be happy. A simple life starts with emotional management. Start with the low-hanging fruit, sleep deprivation and hangovers. Just go on Google or ChatGPT and type in, how do I sleep better and drink less? And just try out every single one of the suggestions and see what works. Because life is always slightly better in the morning after you've had some quality sleep. Another emotional trap I keep falling into are these addictive experiences. Doom scrolling, online shopping, binge watching TV shows, video games, porn. These experiences are designed to suck away as much of your time and money as possible, and still leave you begging for more. When you're feeling that itch to do something addictive right now, it is often better to do absolutely nothing instead. Just sit there in silence or put on a little music and wait until the emotion passes or until you fall asleep. Because life is always a little bit better in the morning after you've had quality sleep. When your emotions finally settle into a calmer state, life gets a lot simpler. You no longer feel this constant urgency to react to everything happening around you. And instead, you gain something much more powerful, the freedom to choose how to respond. And for those of us who just want to live a simple life, we must learn to preserve this calm emotional state and retain our freedom. For example, one thing I learned early in life is that I get very emotionally flustered when my living space gets too cluttered. So every week, I've scheduled 2 time blocks on Wednesday and Saturday where I focus on just decluttering for an hour. Another example, if I do choose to go out to a party so I can make small talk with strangers, then I make sure to block out the next few days to be introverted by myself. And when I start playing a video game, I always set a timer so that it locks me out of the game after 30 minutes or an hour. It's a powerful thing to know your emotional triggers, but it's even more powerful to stay ahead of them. If you're not proactive about maintaining your simple life, your life will ultimately revert back to a complicated mess. And one last thing I'll say about the simple life. When I first heard the term simple life, I pictured a Scandinavian farmer. Don't ask me why. And my gut reaction is, this is too radical. If this Chinese city boy becomes a Scandinavian farmer, my parents would disown me. But I think I was getting ahead of myself. Living a simple life doesn't mean you have to become a cultural stereotype. You don't even have to live in the countryside. Simple living just means you're not living double or triple lives. You are being authentically you, doing what you do best. You can still have a whole community of people in the city who can validate you and your lifestyle. I live in the city and I'm just a simple software engineer who likes making videos like this one. If you enjoy this type of content, then you are part of my community and you're part of my simple life. We can all have different careers and hobbies, but we can all choose to live a simpler life. The simple life is like a quiet room that has always been there, but you just haven't stepped inside in a while. And that room is full of peace, joy, and presence. You don't have to earn it. You just have to choose to step inside from time to time. Leave me a comment below if you've enjoyed this video. And I think it's time for us to go on a simple walkie walk. Walkie walk.